Hey, 1 2 2 2 2 1 2 2 2 2 2 1 2. Hey, 1 2. You got it, Mike?
All right.
We got it. Michael said Mike said he wanted Mike checks Mike.
We just fill it up. I'll get Hudson Hinton down here too if we need.
What? Where is he?
He's up there.
We're on this.
Turn down real quick. Hold on. Turn it down.
Good Tuesday evening out there to everybody, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Brett Pritchard and Scott Hardy here with you till 7 o'clock. Our good buddy Luke Robinson will come up here and join us as well. But we got as you can hear in the background, a very packed house here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. We got a lot of things to celebrate here in the Lake Martin area that happened this past week. Numerous teams from the area. Scott really did well. We got the 10U All-Star girls from Alex City here. They won the state. We'll actually have them on the program with us tonight. Also, new site, their 8U girls were able to capture a state championship, and we had them scheduled to come on, but they had a little bit of a conflict. And we're going to have them on in a couple of weeks, so we'll give them an opportunity to come in and have a presence here on the show and talk about their championship. And then the Dayville Majors boys, 11 and 12-year-olds, won their district tournament down in Dayville. I think they played. Did it say where they played? I just know they advanced to the state, which starts July the 13th down in Troy. But anyway, a lot of great success. And then we've got some other teams that are going to state that haven't played yet on the boys' side here in Alex City. And I know New Site has a team that's headed to state on the boys' side. So, Scott, really been a banner year. I know this area is rich in baseball and softball history, but really a banner year in some of our teams being able to go on, win district, win state, and be highly competitive.
Yeah, definitely. And if you look at the landscape from last year to this year, last year you had one or two teams that kind of carried the load for the Lake Martin area. You had a team actually going to play on the regional side of things as well, representing the boys' side. But looking at this year, a multitude of teams representing both baseball and softball in the Lake Martin area, moving on, whether it be the district, whether it be state, or and then having an opportunity to go play at regionals. And so obviously we're highlighting the individuals that we're having here tonight. But this weekend we'll have the 8U All-Star team will travel to the Wiregrass part of the state, and they'll take on an opportunity to try to win.
They're going to Dopp. Yeah, they headed to Dopp.
So there'll be an opportunity there for a lot of teams in our area to come back with some chivalry there coming back. But I can't wait to discuss with them that we've had a couple of these girls on throughout the year.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty exciting times here in the Lake Martin area.
Yeah, and then to wrap it up tonight, hopefully Jim Hardy will be here to talk about the fundraiser they're going to have, plus the concert they'll have out at the Sportsplex a little bit later on in July. Some really cool acts coming in, all for a great cause, a great organization, and Outdoor Friends Forever. So we got an action-packed show here tonight, Scott. And what we'll do first, all the girls are out here, all their families are here. We'll get some of the coaches up here first. I want to recognize them. Lee McWater's the head coach of this team, and he was assisted by Stacy Davis and Chris Knox. And, again, when you have these all-star teams and you travel, and it takes a lot of support from parents and a lot of practice and a lot of sacrifice, because summer is shorter now than it used to be, Scott. It used to have a Memorial Day to Labor Day type summer, and now that school starts back in August, I mean, really, you get out of school, you're playing ball, you get into all-stars, you do this, and you look up and you're in the month of July. You only have a few weeks left before you have to start back to school. So it really takes a lot of sacrifice on everybody's part to make this stuff happen. But we'll just take a break. When we come back, we'll have a couple of the coaches up here to talk about the team. And then eventually we'll get the girls up here and we'll let them introduce themselves and kind of tell a little bit about their experience, what it's like to win a state championship. And a lot of people never get a chance to experience that, Scott. at any level. So to be able to say that you won a state championship, and this group is a really good group. You can tell that they know how to play well together. They've been playing together for a long time. If they can stay together, there may be a lot more state championships in the future for this bunch, Scott.
Absolutely, and I think that's the most promising sign that you see from this group is that we're seeing it at such a young age. And this team has been successful the entire time they've been together. So this just didn't start this year. They've been successful in years prior to. So if we're able to keep this group together, I think you'll see this across the board, both boys and girls sports, but in particular with this 10U softball team here tonight.
Well, we'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll have Lee McWaters and Stacy Davis up here with us, and we'll talk a little bit about their path to winning the state championship this past week. Stay tuned. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show presented by JR's right after this. Test. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Brett Pritchard here. Scott Hardy steps aside briefly as I'm joined by the three coaches of this 10U All-Star State Championship team and head coach Lee McWaters and Stacy Davis, Chris Knox up here. I know, first of all, you guys are just excited for what these girls accomplish, guys.
Well, these guys and girls, coaches themselves worked really hard. The girls were determined, wanted to win, had the drive to win, needed a place to show they could win, and we gave them the place to do it, and they did it.
Well, you guys talked about it, Stacy. You and I talked about it just a little bit ago about how long these girls have played together. You know, it makes a big difference because now you go to these tournaments. That's what you're playing against. These communities, they start young and they grow up together playing, and it's tough to the competition that you play. And so when you win a state championship, it means a lot.
It does. We talked about earlier, this is for a lot of the girls that make up the core of this team. We finished third the last 3 years. So this year, you know, we got over the hump and won it. But we actually had a lot of compliments at the tournament that said they could tell immediately from watching us play that they could tell we'd played together for a while, that this wasn't the first time these girls have been together. So
makes a big difference. Chris, I'll ask you this. All three of you guys able to coach your children. But to talk about that, I mean, what an opportunity, because I've had the opportunity to do the same thing, and you go off to a state tournament and play for a championship or win a district. And to me, that makes it even more special because I know a lot of you probably are just like I was, Braden, sitting over here. There are a lot of times he wished I wasn't coaching because you're harder on them than you are some of the other ones. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a special opportunity to be able to coach your child.
It is. I enjoyed it greatly. Being with Macy, being with her friends, helping with that, it's been a highlight for me. I actually look forward to getting off work and going to practice and games. So I'm sure it's the same with other guys.
Man, I had people always ask me, well, how do you fit all this stuff in and what do you do? And I said, look, there's one thing I was going to be devoted to, and as long as my child, you know, was okay with me being involved, I wanted to be there because those days don't last forever. Right. You know, you don't get a chance to do that over, and you want to have those memories. And I think it's awesome to have parent involvement, to be involved on the field. Again, if your child wants you there doing that, sometimes they want a little break. But Lee, talk about this team and how they made it to state, and then the path that y'all paved when you got there.
Well, the path started a long time ago. These girls have been together since T-ball, one way or another, on different teams, separate teams, but somehow, some way, they get back together. And this year, like Stacey said, last year we come up a little short, and we're talking a little bit short, not much. It's a swing here or a hit there. This year we worked through our pre-area. We did very well there. We could tell we had a really good team, and these girls talk to each other. You can tell they know each other's moves and how they can react to certain situations. And then the area, it's the same teams again, so we got a little more experience there than the state itself. Now, you knew when you get to state that it's going to be tough. And it did. It got very tough, and that's when we got a little rattled. But these girls have been rattled before, and it showed that they know what they were doing. And we took a lot of time getting these girls ready. We put them in every situation you could think of to get to that point. And we saw those situations, and some we didn't see. But they overcome that, and they battled. Those last 2 to 3 games really showed us that you could tell that those girls really wanted to be there, that they were all business. They were young little ladies, but when they came time to step up and do something, there was no hesitation, and they went right forward. So it was outstanding performance all the way around throughout the whole tournament season itself.
Yeah, I think just add right at state, I think every time somebody make a run at us, we come in the next inning and, you know, extend it back out and push away from them. And it's just a collective effort team-wise overall. I mean, everybody contributing, everything. It's real, like you said, rewarding to see all the work and stuff that they put in come out on the field and them be rewarded for the work they put in.
That's right. And 5 games I think you guys played at state. Stacy, is that what you said? And Chris, is there a moment there? Was there a moment during that tournament where you felt like, man, we felt like things were in jeopardy at one point in time, and then you had that moment, like Stacy said, where they came back and answered, and you're like, man, I think we might pull this thing out.
I think it was our semifinal game.
Yeah, Diamond Slayers.
We got down a little bit, and I believe it was Reagan, maybe Katie came in the dugout and looked at the girls and said, "Hey, we need to turn this around."
That's pretty impressive.
And started cheering at the fence for the girls when they were batting, and then you saw our bats start coming alive. So I think that was probably it.
Yeah, I think it was that game too. It was 5-5 or 5-4.
5-4.
And we were 2 outs, nobody on base. And when that inning ended, it was 12-5.
Wow! So you really turned it around.
We went on a little hitting streak right there.
Well, Stacy, y'all play ball. Y'all understand momentum, how it swings, and even in the College World Series you watched last night, LSU made a run at Florida. Florida came right back, answered, and it got that run back. And it just, you could see the air went right out of the stadium for LSU and for their dugout. And, you know, pretty impressive for a group of girls at, you know, 10, 11 years old to come in and have a situation where they go in there and take control of the situation instead of waiting for you guys to tell them. I mean, you don't get that in college a lot, much less in Little League.
I can tell you just throughout the whole tournament, all three of them, that I didn't see any fear in their eyes. I didn't see any anxiety to the fact that they were down, their shoulders dropped. You know how it can get with kids. These guys just they strike out, they walk to the dugout, and they get to chanting for the next batter. It was just unreal on how these guys, girls, have come together and as a team, and they're impressive. They are very impressive.
Well, we're just getting started here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. We're going to take a break. We come back, we're going to let the girls line up over here, and we'll bring Scott back up here and let them come by and introduce themselves one-on-one, talk about what position they played, maybe their favorite athlete, and maybe their favorite moment in the tournament. So I'm sure they'll say one of y'all three will be their favorite athlete, right? Scott Hardy might get a few fans. Some of them may say him. So we'll just have to wait and see. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue on with the 10U Girls All-Star Team state champions. Stay tuned. The Lake Martin Sports Roundup show coming your way right after this. Hey, test, 1, 2, 1, 2. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Late Martin Sports Roundup Show presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. We are here at JR Sports Bar and Grill with the 10U girls state champs from right here in Alexander City, and had all three coaches up here. We're going to keep Lee McWaters up here with us. Going to bring Scott Hardy back up here, and we've got all the girls lined up over here, and all of their families, their fans, and everybody here to support these state championship girls. And we're going to start, Scott, and let them come up one by one and let them introduce themselves, maybe tell who their favorite player is, what position they play, maybe their favorite moment in the tournament. Okay, Scott, I'm going to let you go with it, buddy.
All right, can you tell everybody what your name is?
Katie Davis,
All right, and what position did you play?
third base.
Third base. All right, so what was your favorite thing about winning the state championship?
When the catcher threw it down to third and I got the out.
Awesome. Well, good deal. Congratulations. Keep it coming. All right, what's your name?
Emily McWaters,
All right, Emily, what position did you play?
catcher.
Catcher. All right, what was your favorite thing about the tournament itself and your favorite moment of winning state?
Hitting the ball to outfield and making it to second base.
Well, good deal. Congratulations.
All right.
Good job.
And did you need to step into where you
I mean, anytime you want to add something to it, Lee, about any of these girls.
I'll just say the first two batters there. Those are the first two batters. Right
Is
there.
this the lineup right here?
I'm
Is
close to it.
Close?
Emily,
Okay.
was
Yeah.
Emily was up first and Katie was second. You count on those two getting on base every time.
There you go. Helps.
Jordan.
All right, and what position did you play?
Left field.
Left field. So what was your favorite thing about the softball season? Not just the all-star portion, but the season so far.
We won.
Hey, that's Jordan.
There you go. There
That's
you go.
Jordan. It's all business, quiet, but all business.
That's right. It's what you want.
Smile, what's your name?
Macy Knox. Macy Knox.
All right, Miss Knox, what position did you play?
Shortstop.
So, okay, so that's one of the better players on the team. We like that. So what was your favorite part of this
Where I hit the ball to the outfield.
ball to the outfield?
And that's a steady business there for her. She did a great job. She's our power hitter.
She knocked it out.
Oh, yeah. She's
Where's
something
your-
else.
Rayleigh Caldwell.
All right, and what position did you play?
Outfield.
So what was your favorite part of the past weekend with the tournament?
When everybody started hitting the ball to the fence.
Like the hitting really turned up.
Hey,
these
you know,
girls
you
swing
got a
the bat.
real good chance of winning when you're hitting it to the fence, there,
These girls
Scott.
do it. It's on.
Where's your name?
Reagan Taylor.
All right, Miss Taylor, what position did you play?
Pitcher.
All right. So what was your favorite part of winning the state tournament?
Probably just being competitive on the mound.
Competitive on the mound. That's a good answer. Do you have a favorite softball player? Or do you have a favorite athlete in general? Good answer.
Now, listen, now Reagan, she off the heat every single pitch.
Did she really?
was dominating the entire tournament. She's something else to be
It
seen.
makes a big deal when you get that dominant pitcher.
She is that.
All right. So we'll start with you. What is your name?
Junior McGee.
All right, Mr. McGee, what position did you play?
Outfield.
Phil, so what was your favorite thing over the last few days about winning the state championship?
I hit the ball to the fence.
Get the ball to the fence. Everybody.
That's why they're all-stars, Scott. Everybody's hitting it to the fence.
She says outfield, but she's at center field. She had a couple of ESPN moments out there, so she saved a few runs also.
There you go. There you go.
There, so
Holding it down in the outfield.
That's
all
right.
right, so what's your name?
Ariana.
Ariana, what was the position that you played?
First base.
First base. All right, so what was your favorite part about the state championship?
Getting everybody out when the pitcher threw it to me.
That's major. That's major.
That first base is
Hey,
busy all the
She
time
can
over there.
stretch it out, grab everything
What
that's
is your
thrown to
name?
her.
There you go.
BG. More.
G. Morgan. All right, I like that. What was your position that you played this year?
Outfield.
Field. So you played them all. That's good. So what was your favorite part of winning the state championship?
Well, seeing Reagan pitch all of them strikes just wowed me.
Makes your job easy when she's throwing strikes.
Hey, that's a team effort. You see what I'm talking
That's
about?
awesome, man. Supporting your
What's your name?
teammate.
Grace McCary.
What position did you play?
Pitcher in right field.
Pitcher in right field. So what was the most exciting part about winning the state championship?
Getting to share the experience with everyone and just to know that I won the state championship.
So congratulations
That's awesome.
on the
She
state
is a
championship.
dedicated child there.
That
She's
is
very
outstanding.
dedicated.
All right. Wrapping things up, what is your name?
Elena Talbert.
All right, Ms. Talbot, what position did you play?
Second base.
Second base. What was your favorite part about winning the state championship?
hitting the last run and knowing that you won
That's
it all.
right.
Sure. Well, congratulations.
There you go.
I was going
That's
to
your
wonder if she's
10-year
going to bring that
All-Star
up
team.
because she was the last swing, last bat, took us home for the state championship. So
Wow.
that's a fitting end right there.
Hey, let me tell you, these girls right here, you did see so much unselfishness in what they said and the support of each other, and that's what it takes to win a championship, obviously. And I know you guys are so proud of what they were accomplished or what they accomplished and what they've got left ahead of them, man. Look how young they are, and they, the sky's the limit for this group.
Alexander City has got a future with these girls. They're just 10 years old. They got a couple more years before they get into the school system. It's going to turn around for the city of Alexander City. I'm telling you, with a group of girls, not only these 10-year-olds, there's some 11, 12s. It's a 4 or 5 year range there that's coming through that it's going to be amazing to watch. It's going to be something to be seen.
I'm excited about it, Lee, and thank you to you and Stacy and Chris and all the parents and all the support of everybody that makes this possible, because we'll see the dividends paid when they get in the school system. We're already seeing a return right now on how good these girls play, but it starts with you guys, the dedication, the want to, and the many hours that it takes to put in the time and the work to keep getting better. So we can't say thanks enough. Thank you guys for coming up here. It was cool having a police escort from the college up here to the show tonight, and I know the girls enjoyed that. And we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to get a team picture up here, and we'll move on with Lee. Thank you so much, man. Good to see you as always.
Always.
Stay tuned. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup coming your way right after this. Hey, Scott. Pick. About right there.
Yeah, we'll go back.
Welcome back in, and thanks for joining us here on the Late Martin Sports Roundup Show. Again, we're live on location at JR Sports Bar and Grill, as we are each and every Tuesday from 6 to 7. Brett Pritchard has stepped aside, and Luke Robinson will be joining us after a couple of great segments there with the coaches of the 10U All-Star softball team here in Alexander City, as well as the opportunity to catch up with some of the girls. So congratulations to them as they were able to win state, and I'm not sure what their plans are post-state, if they'll be traveling on to a regional tournament or not, but kudos to them for winning the state championship this year.
Yeah, I listened to you guys on the way over here and did a great job. And the girls did a fantastic job, obviously, and always important whenever you can win a state championship. Brett said it best that not a lot of people get to win a state championship in anything. I remember I don't remember winning anything like that when I was growing up, so I feel like this is something they can have for the rest of their lives. They won't know how important it is until about 10, 20 years from now, but right now they're just enjoying chicken fingers and having fun.
I'm still hanging on to my Hardy's Grand Slam Pacers Phillies from when I was 8 years old. Like I can definitely identify. That might have been the only headline of sports-related activity.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily that those translate one-to-one, but if you want to feel that way, that's fine. I wanted to give a shout-out really quickly to somebody that you work with. I assume you still work with. Every time I talk to you, you're in a different gig, so I assume you're still there. But Lizzie Arbogast, she has been doing such a great job with the local stuff, with getting stories out there. She's the only sports editor I've known, and I've been writing for the paper, I guess, for about 10 years, okay? And I understand Twitter hadn't been here for 10 years. I don't know how long Facebook's been here, and I understand they haven't been necessarily active with that social media the whole time. But there have been 4, maybe 5 sports editors in my time of doing stuff with the paper. She's the only one who is consistently, and I mean daily, put stuff out there, not just for me, but for everybody, every article she can do. And she doesn't just tweet it. She does it with a tagline. She does it with something to invite you in. She just really, it's really smart, because I understand at one time I know the paper had a philosophy about social media that a lot of papers did. It wasn't just the Outlook. That, okay, we don't want to put our stories out there on the internet for free initially. We want somebody to buy the paper and then we'll put it out there. But you can't outrun progress. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't slow it down that way. You're going to have to get with the times, and the Outlook did, and they put all their stuff online very, very quickly, and they do it in a timely manner. And Lizzie has done a fantastic job keeping up with that, putting stories out there, sending these emails out, putting it on Twitter and Facebook. Look, I know you work with her, and I just think she's done an amazing job.
Yeah, and I probably spent the first month of Tuesdays
trying to convince him.
Well, no, when she came on, I was like, we were here, and I kept telling them, I was like, look, she's covering stuff that I don't think has been covered in 20 years, like just youth leagues. Well, not that we didn't cover, all-stars, but just youth league events in general, and just the most obscure, any way that there's a sports angle into a story, she's figured out a way to maintain her presence there. So you're right, and so we've been very fortunate, especially for this program in itself, because she does provide some content that maybe we wouldn't have known about prior to. So I give her a pat on the back every day and every opportunity that I have the chance to. She's been a breath of fresh air for the area, and her ability to instantaneously provide highlights of sporting events that she's attending, or whether it be on Snapchat, so she gets it. And so the biggest thing, she's gained the trust of the kids. Obviously, and you want the coaches to respect, but the kids trust her. So everybody now wants to be part of the Lizzie story. So
and I think she's from Pennsylvania, so it's not the easiest thing in the world to come down to Alabama and gain a lot of trust like that. But she's done it, and as you said, she's tried different things. She's written some articles about hockey. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, that's not going to gain a lot of traction. And she told me that. She said, I tried my hockey thing. It didn't work. But I applaud the effort. I mean, you never know. I mean, this can't be football predictions every week, even though I try to do that. It can't be football predictions every single story. It's just not going to work. So I just like somebody thinking out of the box and coming here and taking a lot of initiative the way she has done. She's done a really, really swell job for the Outlook.
Well, speaking of swell jobs, and so talking about content, I told her I wanted to pick up a column at some point. And so I'm going to ask you, I couldn't figure out an angle really, she was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, any sports related topic that I could infuse some sports in, not necessarily Auburn, Alabama. So what would be a topic of choice? And we got a pretty long segment here we've got to get through. So
okay.
we got some time.
So that's code for Luke, please ramble.
Yeah, that works.
So you want an angle.
Yeah, what's something you think maybe that could be just an angle that you think that I could pursue?
Well, I think you can approach it. Andy obviously does a good job writing for the paper. He'll have an article tomorrow. Andy Graham, who will host Sports Live with me at the next program. Maybe you could come at this from more of a millennial angle. People are blaming millennials for a lot of things, and maybe you could either kick it up a notch and be as millennial as you could possibly be, or try to wrangle that back in and say, look, we're not all what you think millennials are.
Well, I would just look at it as any social media platform that any of you people are using. You people, non-millennials.
No, I'm a Gen Xer. I didn't even know that. Did you know that?
I was going to ask you. You're right there. Yeah, I mean, you're on the.
We looked it up one day. My wife and I were talking with another couple at dinner, and we were talking about you got the greatest generation, and you got the baby boomers. And then you've got millennials and the Gen Xers. And I was like, well, what are we? I mean, I was born early 70s. I'm a Gen Xer. I can't believe it. I was blown away.
You're an Xer. But
I thought I'd be like sort of I'm not really a baby boomer. I'm sort of a baby boomer. I mean, I just didn't see. Gen Xer seems more technology driven to me. And my generation, we didn't get in. I mean, it wasn't like we were into Super Mario Bros. That's as technologically advanced as we were for a long time.
I can attest to that, but I will say that I don't know, that could be a nice little angle because I think she's got a cool story, feature for a story tomorrow. And I was telling her, I was like, there's got to be some way all the rambling that I do every day that I can incorporate this into some type of written word. So
I think the other thing you ought to do is perhaps tell a story. You've had a lot of connections with a lot of players. You were in school for a long time.
We can't tell any stories.
You were in school for a very long time. And so, but you have to find a way. That's the key, is you have to find a way to make that mainstream without being offensive or giving away too much. It's funny. There's a great story out there, and it's not a great story because I wrote about it. It's a great story that Tom Radney, the late, great Tom Radney, who was a fixture in this community forever and ever and ever. And there's a story that I wrote about him that happened in 1990, right before the Super Bowl. And he mistook Dr. J, Julius Erving, for a maitre d' at Brennan's. And he went up to him, and Brennan's in New Orleans. They were in town for the Super Bowl. He went up to Dr. J, who stands about 6'8", and who was wearing a tuxedo. And he was standing in the doorway, just standing there. And so Tom just went up to him with a $5 bill and said, "Can I have a table? I'm Senator Radney." And Dr. J looked at him like, "What are you doing? Get away from me." And Tom went up to his friends and said, "I can't believe $5 didn't get you anywhere anymore." And somebody went downstairs and said, "Tom, you just tried to give maybe the most famous NBA player of all time at that time a $5 bill to get you a table. And no, if a $5 bill doesn't get you anywhere in Brennan's anyway." So you offended him twice.
That is the most big time thing I think I've heard.
It is. But what's funny is there are a lot of ways to look at that story, but
I tried to go in the
I know. But my point is that you got to find a way to tell that story, and everybody's got to understand. Look, there was nothing nefarious about it. It was just I can see a little bit, like if some dude's standing there with a tuxedo in the doorway, I can see it, but. Anyway, it's just, you got to find a way to maneuver through some of these things.
I'd like to tell some of my Tuscaloosa tales. Maybe that's what I could start, a Tuscaloosa Tales column, and I could just tell some of the events and things that I've seen during my...
You could try that. I mean, but see, you could try that. I mean, I guess if you've been there lately, you could talk about a lot of wins.
How are the wins occurring, though?
Oh, like just usually by drummings, bludgeoning.
Man, we hadn't done a show together in a while. I missed this. Let's see, because they're going to get mad because I didn't try to time the local aspect. All right, we can talk about Sean Jennings, who just left Alabama.
Sean Jennings, who's going to South Alabama. Yeah. I wish that he hadn't been injured, coming into Alabama. And the other thing that I'm noticing, and this is no shot at Sean Jennings, I'm all for you. Go to South Alabama. I think you can be a star down there. I think, he was arguably more, you talk about getting yourself in trouble. He was arguably more valuable to Dadeville his year than Anthony was his year because the position he played. And I thought Sean had a shot. I think Anthony is destined for the NFL. I mean, he's got the NFL body. He's a dog out there. I mean, he wants it. I'm not saying Sean doesn't want it. I'm saying I don't know that Sean has the measurables but I think Alabama was willing to take a chance and say, look, if this is this guy's brother and he's done enough at Dadeville to earn a scholarship, and I think Sean definitely could have stayed, but sometimes kids see, the writing on the wall, or they say, look, I want to play more now. Alabama just had another transfer from Clay Chalkville named TJ Simmons. He started at Clay Chalkville. He was fantastic. We saw him in state championship game. He was at Alabama 1 year. And he looked around, and I think he saw other wide receivers that maybe were ahead of him on the depth chart, and he didn't want to wait to see if he could pass them up with experience. So he transferred to West Virginia. More power to him. And same with Sean. I'm going to pull for it. I think South Alabama is in a fantastic spot here, not just with Sean Jennings, but with a lot of guys that are at Alabama or Auburn, and they look around and say, I want to stay in the state, but it's not working out here for whatever reason. And then South Alabama is the beneficiary. I think that it's a great move for him, and I think that he can do big things down in Mobile.
Well, speaking of beneficiaries, and again, this is Scott Hardy and Luke Robinson here with you for the next 15 minutes or so, discussing all things local. We had the opportunity to discuss the importance of the championship level on the youth level, and so Brett and I introduced that concept, and we came in, and so we had the girls on, and so now kind of talking more on the collegiate side. I do want to ask you this: is there what's the temperament now with UAB getting their program started back up? Is there any
animosity?
But just is there even do y'all care at all? I mean,
yeah. Okay. Boy, you talk about the people in this country music loving town really laughing at me. Who's the former UAB quarterback that's now a country western?
Sam Hunt.
Yeah, Sam Hunt. He's going to do a big concert prior to their first game this year, and I think that'll draw some people in. But look, UAB is what it is. I mean, it's not going to be Alabama or Auburn. It can't get there. And basketball-wise, they've been to an Elite Eight. Alabama and Auburn have only been to one each. They've been to probably more Sweet 16s than Auburn has. I don't know that for a fact, but it's at least close. And they've only been playing since about the 80s. So I'm saying, and given all that, given some history that they've had, they're not going to be front page news anywhere outside of the Birmingham News in this state, right? I mean, so UAB is what it is. I'm fine with UAB having a program. I was fine with there not being a program, but I'm totally fine with there being a program. And I'm glad that some other kids, because of my association with the HSA, will have a shot to play football at the next level at UAB. Not everybody can play in the SEC, and there's no shame in that. You know what this kind of reminds me of, and I'm glad that we have these young ladies up here too, and we're talking about them tonight and all their accolades. But did you hear about John McEnroe and Serena Williams?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think that
first of all, we all admit he's a jerk, right? I mean,
yeah. I think it was more so the number than what he actually said.
He's a jerk, but I think he's right.
I don't think I think she's
better than number 700.
She's better than a lot of.
He used hyperbole.
Yeah, but I mean, even if he was on the most liberal term, liberal usage of being hyperbolic, I would still say she would be. I think she would be top 100, maybe.
No.
I think so.
I do not. Let me tell you what she said.
I think the serving.
What she admitted on, I want to say it was, name a late night talk show, Stephen Colbert, something like that. I can't remember what David Letterman, whatever talk show it was. He's been gone.
I was going to let it ride.
You don't know. But on one of those talk shows, she actually admitted I would get beat 6-0, 6-0 against Andy Murray, and it would take 10 minutes per set.
But Andy Murray's top 10.
Andy Murray's top 10, but I'm saying it's not like there is the world's biggest. I think that I don't think she'd be top 100. I think, could she be top 250? Maybe. I don't think that she's it would be anywhere close. But at the same time, did you read the thing got taken out of context? The interviewer, who is from NPR, so obviously pretty leftist, she comes at it and says, well, he said something like, what he said was Serena Williams is the greatest female tennis player of all times. And the interviewer got a little offended and said, well, why do you have to qualify it by saying she's a female? Well, number one, the she sort of gives it away. But number two, why is that an insult? I mean, it's to say, let's say, for instance, which BRHS team won the state championship? Was it 2001? Okay. The 2001 BRHS team was the best 6A team of all time. That doesn't mean that they were better than 7A teams, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't make their championship any less. Or let's say, throw in Madison Academy. You know, they won all the 3A state championships and then a 4A state championship. It doesn't make it any less to say that's the best 3A or 4A team I've ever seen. With the implication being, but they're not 5A, 6A, or 7A. That's not what it means. I mean, she is a female, and she's the best there's ever been, and nobody's going to dispute that. But I think at the same time, the whole controversy was started because the interviewer made it a thing. McEnroe didn't make it a thing. She made it a thing.
I think that you're right. I'll agree with the context of which the statement occurred. Having said that, I think that Serena gets a different pass than a lot of other female athletes would get, because I think there are people that would have her in the conversation, maybe the greatest athlete, like in terms of just winning. If you do some research and you hear a lot of talking heads, they would put her in that realm of maybe best athlete, and so definitely greatest women's athlete. So she's in that realm. So to say that somebody who has 120-mile-per-hour serve probably can't compete with 600 other people, it was a number in itself. I know that's the issue that the people are taking, but she probably is better than 100 men. I would have to. I mean,
no, 100. Right.
No, I think that
could she beat me? Yeah, she'd beat my brains in. She'd beat me. I mean, there wouldn't be a contest, or you, but. I mean, she's not 100 guy in the world.
No, I mean she's not beating. Yeah, I mean she's not going to beat Djokovic or Murray or.
And I don't know tennis players anymore. So
yeah, I mean, I'm
okay. And so I see what you're saying too. That if you want to put it in the context of, if you define greatest athlete ever of it's relative to their sport and how they dominated, then I think first of all you'd probably have to say Wayne Gretzky maybe number one. The way the record books are in his favor. I know Michael Jordan, I think, won it on the ESPN's 50 best athletes, but ESPN also had a horse in there, if you remember. They had Secretariat like in the top 3 or 4, which is stupid. But point being that we all define the best athlete a little differently. But if the interviewer made it specific. She came at it like, why do you have to qualify it by saying female? And I think his whole thing was, well, number one, she is a female. Number two, I was complimenting her. And number three, she ain't beating a man. Now, McEnroe did come back and say she'd beat me right now because he's 52, 53, whatever he is, 54, 55, whatever. And she said,
I think tennis isn't necessarily like, there's some sports I hate, there's certain things you just look at as like, all right, you probably, Donna Taurasi isn't beating Jordan in his prime. You like, and that she's all-time leading scorer in WNBA. But that's a little different. Or just there are other comparables. But I think in tennis, I think it's golf. Yeah,
no. Look, you could put. I would take you take the best female golfer, and I don't know who that is, and you put them out there. Now they got to play from the same tees. If they get to play from the earlier tees, then I think you can make it on either. But I'm saying, for instance, in basketball or in soccer, I think Clay Travis had a whole big tweet string about this today. Maybe yesterday, a high school team beat some semi-pro girls soccer team, or it was something like that. And Clay Travis's point was, John McEnroe's kind of right. I mean, it's just the way the bodies are. It's not that every guy can beat any girl. It's that if all things remaining equal, generally in a sport like that, the men are going to win. And I'm not saying that as a chauvinist. I'm saying that I'm not trying to defend McEnroe, who I said admittedly is a jerk. But I think his point was she's the best female in the world. And I don't think there's something wrong with that. I mean, it's like saying somebody is the best running back in the world. Oh, you don't think he's the best football player? No, I qualified it by saying, you know what I mean?
All right. I didn't think we could get to 6:48, and we did. So
we just did it.
We're going to go ahead and take our final break of the evening.
You can't stop the Lake Martin Coaches Show from talking about John McEnroe.
Or
the Tuesday Sports Countdown.
You've been a part of the whole thing. So we're going to go ahead and take our final break of the evening. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show right after this. Welcome into the final segment of the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup show / coaches show / whatever it was when Luke has been on here over the past 10 years.
Man, I mean, like, it's been everything. it was the post game. It was. It's been a lot of things.
It's been like me. It's been tossed around a little bit there, but we appreciate it. And again, we thank JR for being such a great sponsor. 256-329-2328 is the number to dial in for them. Again, we're coming up on our final segment of the evening, and I was trying to think of something that kind of a hot topic to get you discussed, and now I thought about it before. What do you think about, there was a recent report that came out, L.com did basically saying, should the ASSA have a private versus public school? What are your thoughts on that?
First of all, I don't want that, because the private school segment would be dominated by just a couple of folks, and I like seeing, the Madison Academies play the other 4A teams. I just enjoy it. Yes, do the private schools have a bit of an advantage in that they can recruit and give scholarships? Yada, yada. Yeah, they do. And they have a multiplier to deal with that, which is 1.35. Is that multiplier low? I mean, that's up for debate. I'm going to tell you, I went to a private school, and I promise you, we didn't go out and recruiting a bunch of folks. That's not how we operated. But there are other schools that do that. And I think if certain schools want to go down that path, let them. I mean, don't to the point where it's illegal, but these public schools act like they aren't out there recruiting. They're out there recruiting just as, I mean, people are saying they live with their uncle and they do it to get in school districts. It's the nature of the beast. The business has gotten big in high school sports too, and I think that it's different strokes for different folks. I mean, the University of Alabama puts a ton of focus on football. The University of Kentucky puts a ton of focus on basketball. It's okay. They both coexist, and, you know, Alabama really enjoys it when we beat them once every 10 times in basketball, and Kentucky really loves it every time they beat it one time in 10 in football. So, I mean, that's okay. I think that it doesn't – look, I don't think you're going to change Hoover from being Hoover. You're not going to change Mountain Brook from being Mountain Brook. Mountain Brook's going to be good because it's a good place to live, a great place to live. It has the best school district in the state. Yeah. I mean, you see what I'm saying? You know, I'm Mr. Mountain Brook now. I know. But look, this whole outfit just screams Brookie. But I mean, Hoover's a good place to live. Fair Hope. These are good, strong communities that care about their sports, and I don't think that they should be penalized or looked down upon for putting more emphasis on sports. We all want to win. So, you know.
How competitive would I forgot where you went.
Indian Springs?
Indian Springs. I was about to say Iron Springs. Indian Springs. How competitive were y'all against did y'all play non?
No, we were not. We competed in the public school.
Okay,
I mean, we did not. Yeah, we were 1A and 2A when I was there, and I think they're 3A now. Okay. But in soccer, you don't mess with Indian Springs. We just won a state championship. I mean, it's that we put more emphasis on soccer.
I got you.
You know, I had a basketball game get rained out. That's how much emphasis we put on basketball because the gym was wet. Not because it was like torrential downpours outside. The gym got wet, and they said, we just can't play in these conditions. So, I mean, that's what they said in basketball. It's not like it was a rock park. I mean, it was in a gym. Yeah.
That makes me feel better. Let's go wrap things up here for us on the Lake Morning Sports Roundup. Thanks to Brett for filling in for Adam tonight. Hopefully we'll see you guys. Oh, we won't be here next Tuesday, so we'll see you guys on the 11th. But thanks to Michael Forehand and my man Luke Robinson, the Bammer he is. Standing
we didn't talk about it.
We did. But you guys stay tuned to Sports Live with Andy Graham and Luke Robinson. For Brett Pritchard, Michael Forehand, and Luke Robinson, I'm saying Scott Hardy. See you next week.